Welcome to the 1000 GM Player Profiles series. We have the newly minted International Master Steve Wang. He just got his IM title just a few weeks ago, and he must be incredibly excited. How excited are you for that and to be here, Steve?
Hi everyone. Yes, actually, it has been a roller coaster journey to get to the title, and I would like to continue playing after the IM title. So it feels awesome that I get to play in the 1000 GM IM series.
Great. Great. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate that. And let's get started with a few questions from the organizer from 1000 GM. First question they have for you is, how much money have you spent overall playing Norm events?
Uh, I think I am on the expensive side. I think high four digits.
Oh,
Maybe I
wow.
already crossed five digits. I'm not sure because I had I think, well, I crossed five because I made two trips to Budapest,
Okay, that
and
makes sense.
the other bit is because I played at Schroeder Trust Center almost 20 times now.
Wow. That's
Yes,
incredible. I mean, you told me before that you have quite a few norms. How many norms did you get just generally?
I had seven.
Wow, that's pretty incredible. And so you were just waiting on the rating to get the IM title, right?
Yes, unfortunately, I experienced a number of accidents when I was at 2360. So,
Okay. Okay, yeah, that happens. Okay, so let's continue on about playing these norm events. Why have you spent so much money?
uh, I guess at some point I forgot about. I guess I forgot about it, and I was just very invested in becoming better as a player.
Mhm.
And I also realized the opportunities that I obtained after scoring all these norms would eventually start to not to get out of the red zone and start profiting, so to
Yeah,
speak.
I mean, are the tournaments that you've played just generally really expensive? You mentioned traveling to Europe. Was that necessary for your chess development?
Somewhat, yes. So I understand how people from different regions play,
Yeah, yeah.
and also I do not have to experience the abnormalities here. For example, I grew up with well, I didn't grow up, but he was a major presence during my scholastic chess years. At some point, oh well, my someone I know was about 24. I think it was 2440 something USCF,
Hmm.
but 1963 there. So I
Wow.
also I also had a friend who was 2260 USCF, but he was 1780. So when he beat some like IMs and GMs in US Open, it made his opponent just tilt off the planet. Like,
Wow, that's crazy. Is that just because of the access to norm tournaments in the United States? They had trouble accessing even just FIDE rated events with that giant disparity. It seems like they weren't even playing FIDE rated events then.
for the most part, I believe it's availability. I've also known that someone was not told that a scholastic tournament they played a long time ago got rated.
Oh, wow.
So that was a rare exception.
Yeah.
That's why they were stuck with the 1200 FIDE, even though they were 2150 USCF.
Oh, that
I
makes
think
sense.
he's corrected all the way to 1900 now.
Right,
Yeah.
right. It's going to adjust, but generally, is access to FIDE tournaments in the United States? I mean, how old are you again?
Uh, I am almost 25. I will turn 25 next month.
Okay, so you've seen a period. I'm assuming you've seen the shift in the availability, but generally, when you were younger, were there that many FIDE tournaments?
Mm, Before I turned 18, no, I'm not sure. Actually, Norm Tournament sort of had a mythical vibe to. It's like I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like I'm playing with great. It's like I'm playing with super awesome people that I don't get to see all the time. But then eventually I realize I get to see them all the time, anyways.
Right. So the 1000 GM's mission is to basically have tournaments every week of the year, norm tournaments, right? If
Yes.
1,000 GM's able to hit that, that mark, will they change the chess scene in America?
I think so for sure. It's even Russia only has 260 grandmasters, and well, they're losing some now because of ongoing current events.
Right.
But yeah, 1,000 will be like basically four Russias combined.
Yeah, which just for historical, purposes, if the audience doesn't know, they were traditionally the country with the most grandmasters, especially per capita, right? I mean,
Yes.
much smaller country than it's a large country, but smaller than a lot of countries. So obviously, China and India are catching up, and obviously the U.S. is starting to catch up as well. But I mean, that's the point. We need to have tournaments in the United States, FIDE tournaments, and norm events for people to have access to these events. So when you play the tournaments, how important are the conditions of the tournament to you? Lodging and just general playing conditions.
I think the worst thing I experienced was in Budapest when I woke up at 3 or 4 in the morning because there was just like a giant truck that had its headlight like shining through my window.
Oh no, that's terrible.
I I still did okay. I missed Norm, but I figured I played some bad games. But overall, it was I think for the most part, not a lot of things affect me.
Mhm.
Well, there's also another minor detail. I noticed that some organizers likes to give extra time after Rule 40. I would like I in general prefer that you just do not get time.
Okay, that's a good point. I appreciate that. No one else has made that point, so so you prefer basically a shorter game.
Not really shorter game, but I think players should be punished for making poor time management decisions and in general. I'm not sure the word for it is, but
Yeah.
I like if you don't know the opening, you'll just get punished. Like you shouldn't get like extra.
The preparation is what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. More. Yeah. I
Oh,
get. Yes.
okay, that's a nice hot take. I like that. So let's talk about the hard question.
Yes.
And we've talked about the availability of tournaments and the need to even travel to Europe. Do you think that there is systemic discrimination in chess toward financially privileged players in the sense that they have better access to IM and GM norms and they're the ones that are going to be able to get those norms?
I think there is just because of how expensive it is to run norm invitationals in general.
Mm-hmm.
On the top of my head, I also remember reading about this journalist from Kazakhstan. He published on behalf of another like chess parent of a WIM who was like having the same like privilege issue
Yeah.
because she was trying to also this same WIM is trying to rise to the ranks, but I think she was not able to edge out some more privileged players like well, I don't want to name names, but there
Yeah,
are some
yeah,
like
that's fine.
2400. There's some 2400s women players in Kazakhstan who supposedly had more privilege or in the form of like government support.
Well, I appreciate that international perspective, showing that not even just in America, but even other smaller countries have
Yeah.
similar problems. Okay, well, I really appreciate that input, Steve, and so does 1000 GM. Let's move on to you. I want to see what makes you tick as a chess player, Steve. So let's start from the beginning and talk about why you started playing chess and when.
Um, I first started playing chess at 6. So
Oh, wow.
how I met with chess is that in China, I'm not sure if they still exist, but well, one of the good takeaways we had from Soviet Union was opening these extracurricular facilities. They're called Pioneer Palaces.
Okay, interesting.
And one of the extracurricular subjects at the Pioneer Palace near my home was back in China was chess. There was arts, maybe calligraphy, but okay, well, chess stuck with me.
Yeah, yeah. So
Uh,
they're called pioneer palaces. Very interesting.
yes, I believe that's the English term for it. I had to look it up.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Before.
I don't think the American audience really knows much about that. So you can continue. That's very interesting.
So, but unfortunately, a month later, the avian flu broke out.
Oh
So
no.
I had to take a 2 year break until public facilities are open
Right.
again.
Right.
And so I picked it up, and well, I guess my competitive mind began because I became a laughing stock on the first day of a group lesson.
All right.
Because this is how my first game went.
Okay.
My first game I ever played. It was not rated, unfortunately, because it's an assessment game. It was my
Right.
first go.
Right.
The game. Okay, so I was playing black. So the game started e4 c5,
Okay.
and my peers were shocked because they just simply did not expect a complete beginner to even know
The
okay e4
Sicilian.
c5 is
Yeah.
Sicilian.
Yeah.
So they were like, okay, what does this kid have? And so my coach plays knight f3, so it's like a perfectly normal move. And then suddenly they realize, oh yeah, I'm a complete beginner because I proceed to play b5 and lose the game in like 20 moves.
Oh, that's great. Well, that's pretty awesome. And you lost it quickly, right?
Yeah, and yeah, so for maybe a few months I was sort of I don't think it was bad enough to be called bullying, but basically it's sort of what you would what a person would experience as one of the lowest performing members of
Yeah,
a group of students.
a form of teasing. They're just teasing you and poking fun
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so how did that motivate you? Because some players might even just quit after that. How did that motivate you then?
I think it's because I was not shut down everywhere. I actually beat some other. I actually won against other beginners too. So
Okay,
it's like okay, so I just had to figure out how to change my ratio, and it helped. It helped that the most talented student actually left a week after I started playing chess, and
oh,
so the overall group just became a little bit weaker. Actually, he's the only person out of that original group that still plays chess like me.
and I'm just curious. Is he who's higher rated?
He
Oh,
is.
okay, okay.
He
You're
uh,
still chasing
he
him.
made he made bronze at 2018 World Youth.
Oh wow, that's
Yes.
awesome.
He's
Wow.
well also he's still a lot better than me because he think he's a 25-50 GM now.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about how you got into competitive chess then.
I think at first it was just scholastic tournament. I played I never really moved past like the city level, the municipal level of
Mhm.
chess. I think my first state level tournament was after I moved to the United States.
Okay, okay,
I uh, I actually almost won the K-12 Open on my first try.
okay. Wait. So when did you move to the United States? At what age?
Uh, Shortly after I turned 11, which would be probably end of 2008.
Okay, and then when did you almost win the K-12?
I think it was the next spring, so spring of 2009. I did not get first because the first place won all of his games and I made two draws.
Oh man, that's still a really good feat. I mean, you're basically going from well, I don't know what level you were when you came to the United States, but would you say that moving to the United States, your abilities blossomed?
Yes, there were more opportunities. There was, I think there's still a lingering effect. It's like, I guess in Western chess culture, you just in general get appreciated more if you have the GM title. So you're more well known as a 25. I mean, even 2400 gems are more well recognized. In China, well, if you have never been 2700 in FIDE records, no one's going to remember you.
Oh wow,
At least that's how I was like brought up.
Then it's probably changed
Yeah.
quite a bit now because the Chinese team is just incredibly good.
Yep.
Did you wait before we get to your U.S. play? Did you have a coach you want to shout out from China?
I suppose I can, but he's not. I don't know if he. Well, there's two things I'm not sure about. I'm not sure if he still teaches chess, and I'm not sure like how many people still know him. It's
That's fine. That's fine. Just
he's like I
just to
think he's
give
a
him.
I think he's a Canada master. He doesn't have an English name, but well, I would like to give a shout out
Sure.
to Mr. Zhu Yangchao.
Okay, we appreciate that. I want to do that because I feel these coaches that inspire players should be recognized. So thanks for sharing that. And then, did you get a coach when you came to the United States?
Yes, actually, I got it the second week after I moved.
Oh, okay. That's why your skills blossomed. So who was it?
He does not really play chess that much these days either, but it was National Master Chris Mabe.
Okay, great. Okay,
He's well known in the Southeast area. At some point, I believe he had a peak of 2350 USCF.
okay, right. Yeah, that's very strong. Um, where did you move again? What city?
I moved to Charlotte, North Carolina, and it was because well, I was my parents gave me the question of which city to move to, and I told them, well, on the news, I keep reading about random natural disasters breaking out in America every other day. So can we move to some place where that doesn't happen every other day?
Okay,
And we ended with Charlotte.
okay, that's very interesting. And then, did you start playing at the Charlotte Chess Center, or did that come later?
There was not Charlotte. There was a precursor of Charlotte Trust Center, which is called QCCA,
Okay,
and so let's see. I did not play right. I actually didn't play for a month, but then my parents found out about this monthly tournament that they run. It's like a 1 day 3 round Swiss. I had the option because I was not rated. I had the option of just going to the U1100 and just like 3-0 and very quickly, but I'm not sure. Maybe my competitive mind uh, back then uh, made me oblivious to the fact that I can actually like adjust my strength because I'm technically unrated. So I ended up picking the top section to play, and I got 2 out of 3 on my first try.
Oh wow, that's fantastic. And then what was your starting rating then?
So I started at 1804 because I
Wow.
I won against the 1500 and 1600, and then I made 2 draws with 1700.
So you were already relatively strong for an amateur coming to the United States. And then did you hit resistance at any point or did you just keep rising?
I think I hit a roadblock because I spent a year at 1800.
Uh-huh.
Then I think I made a breakthrough in eighth grade where I
Okay.
made 1900.
Great.
And then I sort of slowed down at 2000 a little bit, but
Yeah.
then I think everything else came quickly as well until I made NM. And I made NM also off of like almost winning the and in Group C of World Open in
Okay.
2013.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
Yes,
What score did you finish with there?
I finished with uh plus four 6.5, and
Oh, that's great.
I would have made 6,000 if I didn't accidentally hang mate in three the last game.
Oh no. Okay, well that's a good transition to what it feels like and how you keep playing after a big loss. So that's a pretty rough loss. How did you react to that? And then what did it mean for your chess going forward?
I think I actually got over it pretty quickly because
Oh,
I
okay.
realized that I I did not exert enough pressure on my opponent, so he just got to do whatever he wanted, and I had some I was basically on the receiving end. It's like at some point during the actual game, I even felt that I would be happy if I just got back to the hotel room without losing.
Well, so then you seem like a resilient player. Then, do you think you need that kind of resilience to reach higher level titles? I mean, it sounds like it took you quite a while to get your IM title. Can you talk about that resilience that it takes to get there?
Uh, I'm actually not sure how much resilience. There is resilience for sure because there was. I had a very bad game. I think one of my worst games in recent time was when I had a completely winning working game against 1900, and I I found the only way to not only not to win and also lose it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, last year at U.S. Masters, and so yeah, I'm. But I think it's also about like learning how to manage your rating growth. I figured out a way to manage my rating growth, and I think that has helped me to have a overall very smooth 2022 so far.
Great, great. And can you give us any insights, or is that a secret?
Well, I basically took the norm score, rewrote it in terms of rating performance,
Uh,
and told myself I don't need to get a norm every time because I can miss it by half point or 1 point and still be happy.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
so like for example, if your gem norm is 2600 performance, you can miss it by a full point and still get a 2500 performance. Which
Oh, I see. I see. And
and and so I also told myself, okay, so I just need to snowball the rating this way. It can be slow. It can be slow. It doesn't have to be fast because eventually, I have K10. But it just eventually when I reach a point where I am strong enough such that every other tournament I go to.
yeah, yeah. And so then this has been working for you. Can you give us a little insight into your training regiment? I mean, it sounds like you got super serious recently. I mean, maybe you were having some trouble previously, and then you've adjusted some things. Can you give us a glimpse into your training regiment to do that?
Yes, yes, of course. So I uh, I don't think I'm the most disciplined person before the start of 2020.
Yeah.
So the change came then. I met one of my coaches. He runs chess move, by the way.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
yes.
Wait,
So
shout him out if you don't mind.
yeah, yeah. So I can give a shout out to my coach, Avete Gregorian,
Okay, great.
and so one of the things he did, which I still do to this day, is I play blitz games to memorize some opening lines,
Hmm.
or to test out unclear positions that books simply don't have. Books simply have no space to give you full analysis that might end up boring readers.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. And how do you think that helps your play?
And I have an advantage. I basically do not have to prepare. I almost never prepare for tournaments.
Wow, that's a huge surprise. Um, I'm kind of flabbergasted there. I don't even know how to follow up. You almost never prepare. Are you exaggerating here, or is this really the truth?
Uh, there, I think the most I do is figuring out what openings to ban my opponent from playing.
Okay,
So
okay.
I might find some like high scoring openings that my opponent has, and because I've had some games from last year where I played too predictably and my opponent just comfortably played out to me.
Hmm.
Because the way I play, I try to punish my opponent for not having like proper knowledge base
Right, right.
because I believe preparation is done a lot of times it's done wrong at our level. So it's done at I believe it's done at the top 10, top 100 level because well everybody knows each other. There's no like hat trick to like there's no hat trick, so you just have to well, all known hat tricks are exhausted,
Yeah,
and
that's
they're
right.
still. That's why you need home analysis to come out with really really mind blowing ideas. But here I believe it's done wrong because now it's more used as similar to a person who basically did not study for a midterm until like 24 hours before it, and as real practice in both cases, in both instances, show it does not work that well.
Yeah,
So I like.
cramming doesn't work. Yeah. The term is cramming, right?
Oh, okay, yes,
Yeah.
self cramming. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. So so is this a stylistic shift in the sense, because it sounds like you're saying that you basically try to avoid your opponent's prep, right? And you're getting them out of the openings they expect you to play, and not allowing them to play the openings they want to play. Is that a fair characterization?
Uh, yes, I go by the belief that you cannot prepare if it doesn't exist.
That's why you'll do those offbeat, dubious, or like interesting lines that the books just can't explain because it would take forever to explain, right?
Some of them I'm not even sure are in books.
Great, that's fantastic.
The
Um,
I would like to also give a shout out to my coach Avidik again because I mostly got this idea from him because after I won my first two tournaments under him, we actually talked about how we need to slightly adjust my opening base so that it's not predictable because I had a very uninspiring game where I was sent to a bishop endgame on move 20 because my opponent just like looked up a specific line I played and memorized until move. It was 1800, but he looked up the line until all the queens and rooks got traded, and I just had to play a 3-0 bishop endgame. And eventually, I was not able to make progress and made a draw.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I've
So,
I've I've done that to higher rated players.
so after that, we were talking about that, but he mentioned that when he visited the United States to play at, I believe it was Summer Classics. He had an opponent he wanted to prepare for, but when he pulled up the database records, the opponent has an equal distribution of games in every game, and his scoring percentage was equally good.
Wow.
So what did my coach do? He closed the laptop and just went in the venue. No, that's that. And from that point, I decided I want all of my opponents to do the same.
Right. And so
Hopefully, all of them to do the same.
And so what you're describing here, I think, is you're becoming an overall, all around player. You can play almost any position. Is that a fair characterization?
For the most part, yes. Unfortunately, I believe I simply do not have the memorization capacity for computer heavy openings. So.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. I mean, it's challenging, and well, you have to focus on what your strength is. So then, if that's your main weakness, then what would you say is your main strength in your game?
Thanks for my game.
Is it tactical calculation? Is it positional knowledge? Is it end game? You know.
I think I'm very good at suppressing all my opponents.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So you're you're all about prophylaxis, and
Yes.
um, would you
Does
say?
that? Yes.
Oh, I was gonna say what style would you say, like Karpov, or would you say um, even Botvinnik or any other players like that?
I used to be described by older figures as having a Karpov style.
Okay.
But then recently I learned some if E4 lines that don't have a lot of peace behind them. So
Okay. Okay. That's very interesting. So that fits in with your overall. Being an all-around player, and when players look you up, they can't figure out what to study. Does that actually make you happy, that knowing or give you even a little bit of extra confidence knowing that they just can't prepare for you?
I want them to close their laptops. Come on.
Yeah, and play a real game. I love that. Close their laptops. Close your laptops, opponent. You better watch out. That's fantastic. All right, so let's move on to the rapid fire silly questions because we could talk for hours like this. I mean, you have a really interesting perspective on chess, and it's different than a lot of the younger players right now. So that I'll definitely be watching your games. So, but let's go on to the silly stuff just for the fans and the audience.
Awesome.
So my first question, and remember, just short answer. You don't have to give anything big. Is a tough one. Who is your favorite superhero?
Oh, this one's easy. So, well, I lived in East Asia for most of my childhood, so
Yeah.
basically, like most children back then, I watched Ultraman. Guess what?
Oh, nice, awesome.
Yes. So
Ultraman.
any of them in that series counts. But I think any Ultraman we made after 2007 sucks. So I don't watch any.
Okay, so you're an old school Ultraman. Okay, that's interesting.
Yes.
I like that. Okay, so then, oh, sorry, I just lost the train here. Hold on, I'll edit this out. Oh yeah, this is a fun one. If a movie can be made about your life in the future, what actor would you get to play you? It could be anybody too. I usually choose Arnold Schwarzenegger just so I can appear buff.
I Well, I particularly like this actor in the few works I've seen him in, so I'm gonna pick. My pick would be. I'm not sure how popular he is in America, but let's say Andy Lau.
Okay, okay. What's he in? I don't think I know him.
He's really famous in the Asian.
I'm so bad about movies and actors, by the way. So I might have even
Uh,
seen it, but don't even know who it is.
I don't know any of the titles in
Uh,
English, but
don't worry, don't worry.
sorry.
That's fine. Okay, so then, what is your favorite chess movie or TV show?
I think Maguire's movie on Fisher is probably the best I have seen.
Okay, that's
It's called Pawn
Pawn
Sacrifice.
Sacrifice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
I saw.
it actually even follows the typical fate of a good movie. It loses money.
Yeah, oh, it's hard. It's hard. It's hard just generally to make movies. I actually saw a screener with him. He gave a speech after. He
Oh,
talked about the movie and did a Q&A. It was a lot of fun. Okay, so then, what's your favorite holiday destination?
favorite holiday destination? My home.
Oh, your house!
Yes, my home.
Where is that again?
Now it is Charlotte, but it might be somewhere else very soon because of well, I'm not sure. It could be somewhere up or somewhere to the left. I'm not sure how it will go in the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Right. Okay, what's your dream destination to live?
Dream destination?
Like if you didn't have money, wasn't an option. You just could live there and have a dope house.
Oh, I'm actually similar to my parents who don't like just a small suburban place
Okay, you just want
with not a
somewhere.
lot of people.
You
Yes,
just want somewhere quiet. Okay, that makes sense. Um, who is the most underrated chess player in history?
underrated chess player.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be rating. You mean I mean just mostly like recognition, name wise, things like that.
I actually think there's the most underrated couple because both the men and they were married at some point, but both of them were the best man and best woman to never become world champion.
Okay, who is this?
Ivanchuk and Galyamova.
Oh, really fantastic choice there. Wow. Okay. I mean, that's serious right there. You're not wrong about that. Ivanchuk is the world champion of chess looks. What he looks like when he's moving a chess piece. But yes, I mean, his strength was up there. I mean, top. What did he reach again?
I think he was the finalist in one of the knockout world championships.
That's right.
But
That's right. Okay, and then a really hard question. What would you like to say to your fans?
I think there is like a few.
All right.
There are a few, but I don't think. But what do I want to say? That's actually difficult. So
Yeah.
I'm not the most talented person out there, but I'm going to see how far my rating takes me, and I hope you get to enjoy every moment of it.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you. I appreciate that, Steve. All right, let's move on, Steve, to your game that you brought today. So go ahead and share your screen when you're ready, and we'll switch over.
Awesome. So let me see. There we go. Let me see which screen is. It's this one. Okay, I believe I have this here.
Yeah, and give us a background on this game, where it was played, who you're playing against, all of that.
In general, so actually, I did not know which game to pick. I had a very good candidates game played at Chicago Open a few years ago, but unfortunately, I cannot find it.
Oh,
it
man.
it was a very it was a game where I was not feeling well, and the position was barricaded. It was barricaded like a closed until further notice establishment. So I offered my GM opponent to draw because the only open file is the F file, and our kings are next to it. So he declined it. He proceeded to lose, and then he proceeded to rant about it in the skills
that's
room.
exciting.
But unfortunately, I did not have that. So I would like to thank some of my friends. I would like to thank a few friends for inspiring me to finally pick out this game.
All right.
So some backgrounds about this game is that this was immediately played. After I had after my U.S. Masters gate, where I lost that Rook game to 1900.
Okay.
I did not touch chess for like a few weeks. I did basically everything else except like working on chess. And so I came to this game and I actually was not sure what to play. Then I realized that I played 3 games. I played 3 games with this move, but none of them are recorded in the database because it was a Goichberg one.
Yeah, they didn't have the DGTs out.
Yeah.
All right.
And none of them were played on DVDs. That was also the case.
Yeah.
So I was like, there's no way my opponent knows this. And by the way, she is a student at SOU. That's all I will say for now. But,
okay.
So the game starts with
what's her approximate rating, just for the background?
About 2280, 2290.
Okay. So strong master.
So the game begins like b3, d5. So this is more or less normal. You can play e5. You can play basically anything. C5, or even there was even a chapter on what to do if your opponent does. All right.
This is Larson's opening, right?
Yes. Spoiler alert: this variation was like concluded in 1 minute because because of not that critical. So
yeah, it's silly. Yeah.
So bishop b2, bishop g4. Okay, so my opponent. Unfortunately, this is not a 1 minute game, so I'm not going to play e3. But I moved another pawn. I played f2. So bishop h5, and now this was an interesting idea that I read about, which is to play h4, and because it operates with the same idea in the advanced Carol, where no pawns are traded. You have a closed center, so you can just focus on using these 4 pawns to find this bishop.
Yeah.
My opponent also realized that concern, so played f6. So this is all normal.
Real quick, just for anybody who's lower rated, The point is G4, H4 to trap the bishop, correct?
Yes. So, for example, if you accidentally play something like E6, G4, H5, and now this H4 square. Oh yeah, this
Yeah.
this
H4 is guarded by the rook. Yeah.
Yeah, this H4 is guarded by the rook, and if you try something funny, I can play knight H3, knight F2.
Yeah, and the bishop
Block
is
this
just completely blundered and trapped.
Yeah. So there was actually this idea to play Queen D6 early.
I see. Yeah.
Yes, but actually I can. So I do the same thing, do something similar, but I just basically don't castle. I move this pawn, get my king out, and pick my pawn.
Wow, that's very interesting. If they play Queen G3 check, it's not bad.
No, because there's nothing got traded, so it cannot do anything. Black cannot do anything with the queen.
Oh, that's kind of fascinating, actually.
So okay, so this happens. D4. I remember I should not allow black to just play E5 and basically cover up the entire. Not cover up, monopolize the center, so to speak.
Yeah.
C5 happens. So here, I believe I mixed up some ones, and I played knight C3. But I don't think it's the worst thing, but I think I could have tried something more aggressive, like maybe G4 or just E3, play a little bit more safe and just get my pieces out. And, well, I probably cannot cast. I most likely cannot go turn right anymore with my king, so I have to cast a queenside. However, after this move, I was very relieved because I realized I can play my slow defaults. I was more concerned that this might happen.
Yeah.
Point being that this pawn is getting overrun, and if I take either of them, black has one. Black gains time by playing D4.
D4, yeah.
So this is not hanging anymore, and then you take back.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
And then I just my bishop has no impact. Actually, This is one of the worst situations. So I realized this, so I immediately tried to play more actively. So C takes, Queen D4. But now I feel that it's a little bit too late for black to be active. Knight C6, and now I employ a typical beginner concept, just Bishop A5.
Yeah, pin the knight.
I think it's. I say beginner because I think this is one of the earliest things you'll learn in Philidor when you go E takes Queen D4 Knight C6. You don't move the queen again, but you play Bishop B5.
Right.
Bishop B5, Ace. Well, this also very small nuance. I'm not sure if everyone knows, but when you have this pin, but you force your opponent to move their A pawn, it's a small plus.
Oh, okay. Very good.
Because typically you don't want to lose a move on it, and also because assuming this bishop is still on C8, this bishop is still on C8, it wants to go to A6.
Right.
So I take, of course, because otherwise I resign, and now I castle.
Oh my gosh, you castle queenside here, of course, but I mean, it still looks slightly crazy. Optically, white is ahead in development, correct?
Yes, which is one of my upsides of this position. I do not have bishop pair, but black does not have time to utilize the bishop pair.
Right.
Well, one of them is staring at a anti-bishop pawn chain right now. But so bishop f7. Now I realize that this black is reinforcing his d pawn, so e5 d4 is headed my way. So I would like to not give black this tempo. I thought about e5, but also there was c5.
Great.
Okay, so actually, so I ended up playing here because I decided that I stopped e5. There's also c5.
Right. Yeah,
so,
that was the main idea I could see there. Yeah.
So now goes bishop e7. Actually, I'm not entirely sure about this move, but I think already black has difficult questions to answer, namely how to develop this knight.
Right.
My pawn is now moving on e4, so knight h6 is probably going to be out of the question for a while. Knight e7, as we have seen in the recent do the rapport game doesn't really. Knight d7 doesn't work well when your pawns are already set up like this.
No, wow.
Nowhere to go. Yes. So I played knight h3. The idea being that I don't really commit to anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't really commit to anywhere, and if I need to play rook h1, this knight on e2, there's no knight blocking my queen.
Right.
In some situations. And now I'm ready to play maybe g4, just push pawns in general. Queen d7, knight a4, e5, f4. So this, I believe, I cannot suggest better moves for black, but I believe at this point, not developing and improving the security status of the black king is already spelling unpleasant things.
Yeah, it's very dangerous now for him. Yeah.
Now after d4, I believe at this point the game is already halfway over because I'm not sure, but in general in norm tournaments you don't see two rooks hanging on the same move. You have this. That's and you correct. Have knight b6.
Yeah, can you draw an arrow real quick for both moves? So you have a fork there, and then
you have that.
Yeah, and b7's hanging. Yeah, that's pretty crushing. And d4 seemed almost forced because he couldn't open the center, but it's just ugly. Yeah, very nice. I mean, it's kind of interesting that you're able to outplay your opponent so swiftly on to move 16, right? Like you're just crushing it at this point.
Yeah, it's I don't get to again, like I said, in general we do not get to do this often. In offline situations, so I try to appreciate these moments.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, it's really fun. Okay, so, how does she respond?
So she stopped knight b6, gives queen g7. So, what was going on? Okay. So my opponent wanted to try some tricks with bishop g7, knight h6, rook h8 later.
Yeah, try to trap your queen. Yeah.
So here, I think I did not autopilot. I just decided that, well, I'm up a rook. So giving a knight back is probably not going to kill me immediately.
Right, and you're fully developed and she is not.
Yes. So I played knight g5 also because I realized that I'm not just handing over a knight. I'm getting one, maybe two. If I'm lucky, I get three pawns in return.
Right. And quite a bit of initiative here.
And so castles. So here, why did I not play? I did not play f5 because I wanted to keep up momentum. I wanted to keep up momentum and try to remove the queen immediately.
Yeah. You're just
so this happens, and
yeah.
Here I also decided it was too much trouble to look for complications, so I just simplified. Well, this so it looks like black has stabilized a little bit, but unfortunately, firstly, this bishop is not well supported. It can be immediately challenged with knight c5, and secondly, this knight is ultimately no impact.
Yeah.
So.
And the black king is very weak now. Still.
Yes, I can try to. I can nicely ask this rook to join from here to here.
Yeah. All right, let's see
knight
how it ends here.
Bishop g4, rook f1, knight f6, and rook f6, and stops clock because rook c6 is.
Yeah, that's totally decisive.
Unstoppable.
Yeah, there's not even any move to suggest there because it's just basically threatening mate in 3, right?
I wasn't worried. I actually never think about checkmate. This is also something I maybe should mention, but I never think about checkmate because I realize that there's a number of things you should grow out of as an adult player, and one of those is over glorifying it. So in general, what I do now is I take pieces until my opponent gives up. I prefer the adult way of going.
Okay, let's unshare the screen and we'll talk about that to wrap up the interview.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, let me switch. Okay, so what an interesting game. And I like what you said at the end, that you play the adult way. Can you elaborate on that?
Well, the adult way is that you should not play until checkmate. That's something you should graduate by the time you win a state scholastic.
I see. Yeah, so they should resign in a proper fashion. So, Steve, I really appreciate everything you've said in this interview. What do you expect from this 1000 GM event, and what are you looking to get out of it?
I look forward to a good 5 days of hanging out with my friend, which he also did an interview with him, Julian.
Oh, great.
And also, what my goal for this tournament is to determine that I am actually here to stay in the K10 club. That's what I want to find out.
Great. Wait, what is this club you keep referencing?
So when you cross 2400, your K factor halves down from 20 to 10.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. The K10 club, so that it's a little bit harder to climb in rating, right?
Yes.
Oh, I see. But that just means that you're that much better at chess, so that you're not just gonna get massive rating inflation.
Yes. But also because it's I do not believe that I'm ready for consistently doing well in GM events yet.
Okay.
So I wanted to make sure, just this is as a double check to see I'm ready to move on.
Thank you very much for this interview, and thanks to 1000 GM for sponsoring it. We really appreciate everything they're doing. So good luck in that event, and I'll be watching your games.
Thank you very much, Coach.
All right.